And now, let's join ace broadcaster Mamode Akugha as he takes us inside the Niger Delta.
Hello out there and welcome to the program. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. I'm your regular host, Mamode Akugha. There's no gainsaying the fact that the backward state of the Niger Delta has become a pathetic travesty of justice in one of the world's most endowed regions. It is also stating the obvious to suggest that the crisis of underdevelopment rocking the region has been largely fueled by infrastructure deficit as well as the difficult terrain of Nigeria's Niger Delta. Today's package highlights ongoing efforts by government and non-governmental organizations to change the narrative in the beleaguered oil-rich region. First on our lineup is a report on the dilapidated state of the Sagbama-Ekeremor Federal Road in Bayelsa State, which is seriously begging for attention. As their own contribution to human capital development in the region, some non-governmental actors have decided to invest in education. How the public-spirited private organizations have intervened in the educational sector will be highlighted in the course of the program. And finally on the program is a special report on the socio-economic prospect of a multi-billion-dollar investment by Belemaoil Producing Limited in its operational base of Robert Kiri, which lies in the lucrative oil mining field OML 55 in the Niger Delta. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region will be back in just a moment. Don't go away.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. Lawmaker representing Sagbama-Ekeremor Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, Honorable Fred Agbedi, has called on the federal government to fix the dilapidated Sagbama-Ekeremor Road, which has made life unbearable for road users and its surrounding communities. Honorable Agbedi made a call recently while inspecting interim rehabilitation works undertaken by the Bayelsa State government to alleviate the plight of the road users. Correspondent Lovely Ofigo has more.
Contractors on site trying to fix the collapsed section of the Sagbama-Ekeremor Road, which connects several communities to Akugha, where the Bayelsa Deep Sea Port is located. The ongoing rehabilitation undertaken by the Bayelsa State government is an interim measure to alleviate the plight of road users. The Sagbama-Ekeremor Road was built several years ago to facilitate transport and communication in the largely riverine communities of Bayelsa State. In recent years, it has come under the brink of collapse, prompting several interventions by federal and state authorities. During a recent visit to his constituency, Honorable Fred Agbedi preferred a lasting solution to the state of disrepair on the road, which is occasioned by coastal erosion.
We are at the verge of being cut off from Nigeria, cut off from the rest part of Bayelsa State, and that will not be too good because we are a major oil producing community. We are peace-loving people. We are people who are contributing to the development and to the revenue of this nation. And for one federal road that crisscrosses the two local governments of my federal constituency to be cut off is not good enough.
Honorable Agbedi called on the federal government to immediately commence work on the Sagbama-Ekeremor Road and make refunds to the Bayelsa State government for rehabilitating a road that is within the purview of the federal government.
Let me also use this opportunity to call on the federal government to refund the monies that are expended by the state government to construct this federal road. This is a federal road, it's not a state road. And so whatever monies that are expended by the state government in constructing this road is supposed to be refunded by the federal government. And I use this opportunity to call on the federal government to refund the total monies that have been expended on this road by the state government, so that the federal will take over and ensure that we have a more lasting solution to this perennial problem.
During his recent visits to Sagbama-Ekeremor Federal Constituency, Honorable Agbedi was at the Torebeni community in Sagbama local government area to inspect the ongoing construction of Torebeni-Okunbiri Road by the federal government's maintenance agency.
The duration of the project is 6 months. So presently the project is about 60% completion. So give and take, any moment from now, within less than a month, the project should be delivered.
I'm impressed with the size and depth of drainage that is being done. And the community is largely happy with the project. They sent me letters of appreciation. I've expressed a lot of accolades. My appeal to the community is to continue to work peacefully with the contractor.
For residents of Torebeni, the road construction project offers a huge sigh of relief from several years of discomfort.
This road will bring development to Torebeni community. We are thankful to God, and we are very happy for Agbedi.
We are so happy. In fact, we are extraordinarily happy because development, the things will be happening in this village, good things.
The entire Niger Delta landscape is dotted with dilapidated roads which have impacted negatively on the region's economy over the years. The ongoing construction of Torebeni-Okunbiri Road is an intervention that the federal government should replicate in other communities contending with similar crises of infrastructure deficits.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Senior pastor of Salvation Ministries, one of the fastest growing evangelical churches in the world, David Ibiomie, has described education as the most important agent of transformation in the society. He made the remark while commissioning some key projects funded by Salvation Ministries at the Ignatius Ajuru University of Education in Port Harcourt.
Staff members and students of the Ignatius Ajuru University of Education were in high spirits recently when Pastor David Ibiomie visited the institution to commission key projects funded by Salvation Ministries. The projects include a state-of-the-art female hostel block, a postgraduate block, and security posts. At a brief ceremony organized to honor him, the preacher of the gospel said the donation was made to promote education as the vehicle of social transformation.
Every advanced nation in earth, the first part is education. So looking at it, we said, well, we must not wait for people to appeal to us when we know what they need. And this is our only two ways to say, yes, we'll do more. Not only to this institution, but wherever we find ourselves.
Since the institution was upgraded to a university status a few years back, a steady rise in students' population had exerted considerable pressure on existing facilities at the Ignatius Ajuru University. For staff and students of the university, the project could not have come at a better time.
You have all the resources to identify yourself with Harvard and some other universities all over the world, but you chose to come here. By law, only God knows why. So we thank you.
One thing about the school management is that they try as much as they can to maintain the infrastructures, and I can assure Papa and members of Salvation Ministries that that building is going to be well taken care of.
Some of our PG students before now come from Bayelsa, from Delta State. Some of them shuttle actually to be in school, but because of this kind gesture, today we have recorded a PG hostel, and with which in the next section, I'm very sure that we'll have PG students well comfortable in a hostel.
In its determination to promote universal basic education, Salvation Ministries has also built a primary school where indigent pupils can enroll free of charge. Pastor Ibiomie and his team visited the school recently along Agri Road in the Port Harcourt metropolis.
It's a free education building as our own contribution to the society. We are going to start in September. Okay. So we are trying to put everything together. Salvation
Ministries, the home of success, says it is poised to raise a generation of God-fearing people who should be educated to become better citizens of the global community.
Inside the Niger Delta.
foremost indigenous oil exploration and production company Belemaoil Producing Limited has signed a contract for the construction of an ultra-modern hostel for the University of Port Harcourt, Rivers State. The hostel block, which will accommodate hundreds of students, is expected to help solve an accommodation challenge currently being experienced at the university.
Belemaoil Producing Limited recently hosted top officials from the University of Port Harcourt and the Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto. At the meeting convened to sign contracts for the construction of ultra-modern hostel blocks in the universities, Belemaoil presented checks of over 80 million naira to both institutions to cover the cost of the first milestone in the projects.
We have a situation where clinical students, for lack of spaces, have to reside outside of the university campus, and that's an unsettled situation for us as professionals and to the governing body of our professionals, the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria. And so we are grateful that you're doing this to alleviate our problems with relation to hostel accommodation for our students.
We offer our profound gratitude to this company, especially the founder, for this, for what they are doing for us. Our problem is not different from that of University of Port Harcourt. We are wearing the same shoes and the same uniform.
Officials of the University of Port Harcourt were particularly excited at Belemaoil's intervention, which would go a long way to address serious accommodation challenges faced by students of the university.
Every student wants to be on campus because of the security challenges we have. And I'm sure you know what has happened in Choba, like recent times. Let's say we have this from other oil companies and other establishments. We would have gone a very long way.
The project to build a 100-bed capacity hostel block at the University of Port Harcourt, fully funded by Belemaoil, puts paid to allegations in some quarters that the indigenous oil company was operating a skewed policy to favor educational institutions in the northern parts of the country.
In the last 2 years, we have sent over 25 students abroad, 23 from between 3 local government areas of Rivers State. In our last Jubilee celebration of Rivers State, where we asked the Rivers State government to give us 23 persons to send abroad. And presently, 10 of them are out. The remaining 13 will be out next year, 2020. Our actions are being driven by our model. Our model is community-based, is truly indigenous, and whatever thing we do, we look inwards before we look outside.
The project for the construction of an ultra-modern hostel block at the University of Port Harcourt will go up over 130 million naira and is expected to be delivered within a period of 12 months. Aside the construction of infrastructure for educational institutions, Belemaoil is also a major sponsor of human capacity development. Annually, it awards scholarships to Rivers State indigents in both primary and post-primary institutions, running into hundreds of millions of naira. Inside the Niger Delta.
Host communities of Belemaoil Producing Limited in oil mining lease OML 55 have hailed the indigenous oil giant for his multi-billion-dollar investment at Robert Kiri, which is expected to transform the entire landscape of Kula Kingdom and its neighboring communities, as well as create wealth for the rural populace. The commendation is coming on the heels of a recent allegation in some quarters that Belemaoil Producing Limited was funding massive projects in the northern part of the country at the expense of its host communities in the Niger Delta. The tensed atmosphere pervading the Niger Delta arises mainly from poverty and insecurity. It is also largely fueled by widespread unemployment. In 2017 and 2018, the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, reported that the oil-rich states of Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa and Rivers accounted for the highest unemployment rates in the country. Until date, unemployment remains rife in the Niger Delta. Following a massive exodus of international oil companies and other investors from the region at the height of the oil conflict, most Niger Deltans have lost their means of livelihood, a scenario that further complicates the trouble with the Niger Delta. When in 2016, Belemaoil Producing Limited acquired a license to operate OML 55, the Indigenous Oil Exploration and Production Company decided to adopt a unique development model to change the narrative in the Niger Delta. It was a well-thought-out strategy to meaningfully engage the restive communities by providing wealth creation and value addition in its areas of operation. In carrying out its corporate social responsibility to its host communities in Kula Kingdom, the indigenous oil giant had in 2018 provided for them basic needs like electricity and water. The intervention by Belemaoil was the first of its kind in Kula Kingdom.
All this while they have been telling me Belemaoil has provided the water. I'm in Kula Kingdom to confirm by myself, and I'm testing the water, which is a nice water that it can even make me not to buy any pure water in Port Harcourt to Kula community again. So for me, I'm going to tell everybody not to waste their time again, because it's a solid water produced by Belemaoil, one of the best water in the south for Kula Kingdom, to make use of it for the life of all sons and daughters of this kingdom. So will Almighty God give strength to Belemaoil, give him wisdom, more knowledge to do more things for this community.
Today I have a registered company, and now I'm running a surveillance job. I have my ID card as a contractor. Those embarrassments, if cancelled in my life, somebody will not just see me and just embarrass me because I have something doing. You have upgraded me to another level. Now I'm trying to even help some less privileged because of this surveillance job that I have. Belemaoil have done enough. You have done enough for our life as a youth in Kula community, and other people from outside that is working this surveillance job. He have done a lot of things for us.
To the delight of his host communities in OML 55, Belemaoil has reclaimed vast parcels of land in Kula Kingdom and has concluded plans to link its isolated communities to Port Harcourt and the rest of the country with the construction of the Muhammad Buhari Kula Expressway.
Groundbreaking for the road construction of 85-kilometer President Muhammad Buhari Kula Degema Port Harcourt Expressway by His Excellency myself, Honorable Minister of State, Petroleum Resources, 28 September 2019.
In line with its operational philosophy of wealth creation, Belemaoil has provided jobs for thousands in the Niger Delta and is willing to employ several other idle youths in the region. At the moment, the indigenous oil giant is embarking on a mega project to build the Belema Atlantic Island at its operational base of Robert Kiri. The project is intended to industrialize the virgin island currently known as the Belema Industrial Swamp and create over 12,000 jobs. The Belema Atlantic Island project, which is made possible by the federal government's approval of the Belemaoil Export Terminal in May this year, is being handled by an American company. It has provisions for the following facilities: a crude oil storage tank farm, crude oil dehydration plant, flared gas processing plant, LPG propane processing and storage unit, power generation, skills acquisition training center, crude oil and gas pipelines, the Belema FSO export terminal, Belema airport/logistics base, and the Belema industrial base. In executing the mega project at Robert Kiri, Belema Pipelines Limited, a subsidiary of the indigenous oil giant, has relocated over 85 property owners in the area. Although the vast parcel of land at Robert Kiri was part of assets it acquired from Chevron in a 2016 transaction to operate OML 55, Belemaoil decided to compensate the relocating residents with a sum of over 120 million naira.
I'm thanking Belema Pipeline for its greater support he have given to Robert Kiri to carry us out of this place. He have paid us better money, and the money he gave to us can enable us to meet up our demand.
Belemaoil is the man that God sent from Kola to airports to help every stranger in this river.
We have a lot of projects that will be coming up in the near future. Especially for now, you could see some reclamation activities at the back, which is going to extend to this highland. And we felt that it is not good for us to keep persons here while those developments are going on, because it is going to impact negatively on the people. We really want to appreciate the President for remembering Kola as a community. It has never been done before, using our son, Engineer Ajuru, to make sure that people around this place are happy and life becoming very easy for everybody.
The relocated residents, while admitting that development comes at a cost, look forward to benefiting from jobs to be created when the Belemaoil export terminal becomes fully operational in about 36 months' time.
We believe that if this place becomes an industrial city, an industrial and oil industry city, it's going to provide a lot of benefits that will accrue to the people of Kola in general, to the people that are resident in this place and every other person within the state and without the state. We believe that even across this parcel of land, a lot of things will be done. The dehydrating unit will be sited, the gas compression unit will be sited, and other things will be sited. So it's going to be a very robust kind of opportunity and privilege that will be coming to the people.
We are not forced to move away from this place because we take time to come and take enumeration of the people one after the other, seek their consent, speak to them. Definitely that for the progress that is, and development that is coming to this place, we'll have to move the people. They are accepted and we have to give them the money. Cash, fabulous amount to each house's landlords and landladies. They are accepted in good faith and they have moved from this place. But we are promising, the company is still promising for more good things to come.
The NNPC Belema joint venture is expected to generate over $21.2 billion in 10 years, with over $2.1 billion as annual revenue from crude oil, condensate, LPG, propane, methanol, and associated services. The key beneficiaries of the project are women and youths in the area.
To be frank, to Belemaoil, he has done a lot. Employment, skill acquisition, a lot of things. We are there as used to praise God for his life. Let God continue to bless him, to do more projects on, and also to develop the youths. And also advise the youths to support him at every point in time. Because if we don't do it, for now, we don't see somebody that will do it. So for anything we are seeing now, let us support him and see how we can harness our powers and go forward and let the community grow from place to place.
As they are starting the constructions, the building and the project, it is the youth that will be the first port of call. We are going to be employed, we are going to be empowered, we are going to be engaged to do one form of job or the other. We are very grateful to our son, Engineer Ajuru, for bringing up such laudable projects to our area to actually alleviate our sufferings. It has never been good like this. We are grateful to Belema Pipeline Limited. We are grateful to our son, Engineer Ajuru Jr.
The Robert Kiri oil field was acquired by Gulf Oil in the 60s and handed over to Chevron, which later sold it to Belemaoil in 2016. With the ownership of the highly endowed oil field being disputed by Rivers and Bayelsa states, Belemaoil has become the proverbial potential bride of desperate suitors. As host communities of the indigenous oil company admit, it has sufficiently surpassed their expectations with the implementation of its unique development model in the Niger Delta. And for its part, Belemaoil promises to break new grounds in its avowed commitment to change the current situation with unemployment, poverty, and insecurity in the region. Belemaoil has proved to be the most innovative and fastest growing oil company operating in the Niger Delta. This is an uncommon feat it has achieved through a combination of its full grasp of issues affecting the Niger Delta and the passion to restore the dignity of the long-suffering oil-producing communities.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Well, that's the size of our package on the program today. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region will be back same time, same station next week. In the meantime, you can follow us on our social media handles showing right now on your screen. Until same time, same station, next week, I am Mamode Akugha saying thank you so much for watching and bye for now.